This is the original portable computer, the good old Osborne 1, a 5-inch screen, 2 floppy disk drives, and yes, it is portable. It's got a handle and 25 pounds underneath it. Portable computers have come a long way since the old Osborne, smaller, lighter, readable LCD screens, battery power, 40-megabyte hard drives, even 386 chips. Today we take a look at the new generation of portable laptop computers on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte magazine, and Bix, the Byte Information Exchange. In print and online, Byte and Bix serve computer professionals worldwide with detailed information on new hardware, software, and technologies.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee, and this is Gary Kildall. Gary, you recognize this wonderful old toy here, the TRS-80 Model 100, the original laptop, really. This one belongs to Jan Lewis, by the way, who still uses it, as do many journalists and many people, even though laptops have grown up considerably since the days of the 100. I know you like to use a laptop. What are the key features that you think should be in the ideal laptop?
Well, I really enjoy the portability of the laptop, that's for sure, and that means it's got to be lightweight. It has to have an internal hard disk drive.
Right.
You can't live with just floppies. And a paperwhite display that's backlit. Now, the only problem we have to solve is that battery problem. I think, you take that trip from San Francisco to New York and you start hearing the beep beep over Denver.
Right.
But we're heading that way. Battery technology is better, and I brought along a little toy here. This is a 2.5-inch hard disk drive.
Oh, my God.
And it's about a third of the size of the 3.5-inch drives, and about a third of the power, and it includes the controller as well.
That's beautiful.
So this is the kind of thing that we'll be seeing in the new laptops that'll help this maintain the battery life.
Gary, we're going to take a look at the new generation of laptops. We'll see the new machines from Toshiba, NEC, Zenith, and Compaq. We'll see a laptop computer that has a built-in cellular modem, and we'll try to find out what the new Macintosh laptop is like. Something we'd all like to see in a laptop, of course, is a color display. And we start out with a report on the state of the art in color LCD technology.
If it sometimes seems that improvements to laptop computers are slow to appear, that's probably true. Squeezing all the features of a 30-pound desktop machine into a featherweight briefcase requires more than just smaller components. And while portables recently became lighter and more powerful, some common features, like color screens, were just unobtainable. This year, color LCD screens have finally appeared on some laptop machines, even if they're not for sale. At the recent Spring Comdex Computer Show, Zenith, Hitachi, and several other Japanese companies showed the first samples of this new breed of color machine. That does not mean, however, that they will show up on store shelves anytime soon.
Well, I think a lot of companies are putting them out there just to position themselves in the marketplace to gain some visibility that they're working on color technologies, and certainly they're also, many of the Japanese firms are looking for potential customers for their screens in the future. So it's sort of a show and tell type of product at this point.
The technology that made it possible is the thin film transistor, incorporated directly onto the LCD module. To display 8 colors at once, each pixel has individual red, blue, and green color filters. The backlit screen features a good contrast ratio, but currently the maximum size barely exceeds 6 inches in diameter. While the machines at Comdex were just previews, there's no doubt that the vendors expect to make a big impact sometime in the future.
I think we've seen more and more in the desktop now. About 60% of desktop users use color or buy color today. So certainly color will be a hurdle and it will propel the industry forward, but still I think the laptop industry, what it really needs to take off, whether it's color or black and white, we still need low cost, low weight type machines.
With us in the studio now is Keith Comer, PC Product Manager with Toshiba. Next to Keith, Kevin Mankin, Director of Product Development with Zenith. Gary?
Kevin, just in my own personal experience, I was one of the early adopters of laptops years ago, and I didn't buy another one until recently because there were a lot of problems in between. What is it that's happened over the last year to really make laptops
I think it's really been over the last 2 or 3 years. The progression of the screens has gotten very, very strong, so that it's equal to the monitor that you can put on your desk. Plus, as far as laptops go, battery life outpaced AC onlys in 1987, and so running for 3 hours, 4 hours, or something like that is something that's an acceptable level for people, and that transition for the technology has been very important also.
Yeah, Keith, what's your reading on that?
Well, we have two different kinds of portables. We still sell the battery-powered units, like people that need to compute on the go need, and then we also have the AC-powered units that people use that need to be able to compute with power where they end up. You know, in the office is powerful. You get to a hotel, you have AC there. You go to a meeting, you have AC there.
Like, what are people looking for in laptops?
Well, we find that there are two classes of laptops, that the battery-powered units sell to that kind of market, where the AC ones have that.
Well, let's take the portable battery-powered one. What are people looking for in terms of features?
They need the screen to be good, the battery life, of course, like Kevin says. We like to put as many ports as possible across them so that they are self-contained enough.
Let's talk about that machine in particular, Keith, while you're going into it. This is your T1600.
Right.
And tell us what's in it and give us a little walkthrough.
Well, this is equivalent to an IBM AT. This is a 12 megahertz 286. It's got a 287 socket. It's got a 20 megabyte hard drive, a 3.5-inch floppy. This is an EGA compatible screen. It's got 16 grayscales. It's a backlit Super Twist LCD. The keyboard is equivalent to an IBM 101 keyboard. It goes all the way up to F12. On the back here, you've got all your standard ports. There's external video for an EGA monitor, 2 serial ports, parallel external floppy in case you need to convert. It's also got a space here for a modem, which would be this kind of modem here. And then on the side, there's a little door that opens, and we have one of our Toshiba slots, and that'll take this other kind of modem here. We've also got a
what is that
Ethernet board now. This is Ethernet. It's got both the thin and the thick cable Ethernet. We also have an expansion chassis card that goes into that slot. So we offer expandability for those that need it, and then, of course, all the standard
Now, in the
ports, too.
expansion chassis, what does that go to? It goes to another box that you set alongside.
There's another box
your
that holds 5 IBM-style cards.
Okay, and
So
those are all available now?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's the battery story on this one?
This one actually comes with 2 batteries. They're up here in the front. They just snap out like this.
And how much life on a battery?
It's hard to say. There's a bunch of battery-saving features. The hard drive spins itself down. The backlight spins down. The processor can go into a coma if you're not using it.
So if I walk on the plane with those 2 batteries, how far do I go?
You can get up to 5 hours. It just depends on if you let the battery-saving features save you those batteries.
Kevin, let's turn to your Zenith Turbo Sport there, I guess. Tell us about what the unique features are of that machine.
Well, this one we look at as a complete desktop replacement in the 386 marketplace, and
We're talking 386 here. That was a 286
yes,
Keith's machine. Okay.
and with the extension that, in addition to the desktop features like removable keyboard and all the ports and full complement of memory, we have a tremendously viewable fluorescent screen here. But the key here is that we strongly believe that the battery life issue is a key issue to the laptop, and this one actually runs at 3 hours. We tend not to quote ranges. We try to quote that conservative test, and we shoot for a 3-hour minimum on all of our
You've got an AC
portables.
right now, though, huh?
Yes, I could pull it, and the system will still stay up. And so if we tape for 3 hours, it's still up.
You know, one of the things, Kevin, that your machine has is what we call white paper white display.
Page white, right?
Page white, okay. Can you tell us the difference between all these displays? We've got a page white display here, there's something blue and white here.
Sure. Page white is a technology that's really built on a couple of things. First, the LCD panel is a special compensating layered LCD. That's what gets you the black and white. characteristic. But in order to get a very bright white, you need a really good backlight, and we use a fluorescent backlight in this particular system. And a fluorescent backlight that's very high efficiency and still runs off a battery is one of the things that's very important. We have an excellent diffuser as part of this display system as well that makes the backlight very even, so that you just don't spot the tubes.
Now, what are the other technologies that are being used right now?
Real popular is electroluminescent and also the gas plasma. They tend to, those technologies are really AC driven though. Getting a 20-to-1 contrast ratio really restricts yourself to LCD technology, and getting one to run under battery is a tough thing to do, and we really tried to work very hard on 5 areas of the technology in the display.
Now, one of the things that is bothersome to me in a laptop or portable like this, with this kind of display, is you seem to lose the mouse form just like you lose the cursor all the time. Is that going to be a constant problem in these displays?
Well, I think you can spot it with here, as with this ledge here. I have a full complement of ports in this very small footprint here. But because of this ledge, I can keep the mouse attached actually even when I travel. And if you notice, I'm running Microsoft Windows and Excel here, and the spotting of the cursor is something that does move quite well across the screen. No trouble seeing.
Okay, we have a little bit of time left, Keith, and I want you to tell us a little bit about the 5200. That's your highest end machine, isn't it?
Right, the 5200 is our 20 megahertz 386. It comes with either a 100 megabyte hard drive or a 40. This is a VGA compatible 16 grayscale gas plasma display. This display does come off, so you can set a monitor above it and be sleek on your desktop. It's a 101 compatible keyboard. Comes with 2 megabytes. It's now expandable up to 14 megabytes using the new 4 megabit RAM chips that we just announced. It's also replaces a desktop in that it's got 2 slots back here. This panel comes off. There's a full-length 16-bit slot and a half-length 8-bit slot. Or this bottom space can be occupied by one of our Toshiba cards, like the Ethernet or this modem that's in here now.
Now, this is an AC-only machine.
This is AC only.
Okay.
Real quick, what's the prices here on these 3 machines we've seen, Keith?
This one's list price at $49.99. This one goes for $95 or 11 grand, depending on the drive.
Kevin? This is $79.99 without modem, 2 megabytes, 40 megabyte hard disk, and $84.99 with a...
Gentlemen, thank you. We're going to be talking more about laptops in just a minute. Pretty much laptops have been in the PC domain with very few exception. No real Macintosh laptop, though we know Macintosh is going to come out with a laptop very soon. We sent Wendy Woods out to try to find out what's going to be inside that new Mac laptop.
According to journalists, the laptop, due to be introduced at Macworld in Boston in August, will have several trailblazing features. A battery capable of operating for 12 hours between charges, a lightweight hard disk, and a revolutionary new screen.
Well, I think the most prominent feature of it would be the active matrix screen, which is a new technology to portable computers that really creates a much finer screen, better contrast, and for the environment that's very graphics-based, like the Macintosh, it's really much more preferable and a good step forward. But there are certain problems with that technology, that it's new, the production yields on active matrix screens is relatively low, and it's expensive.
But why the long wait?
The basic reason why they waited so long is because they chose a path that involved new technologies, and lots of custom design in the chips, in the active matrix screen, in getting a 12-hour battery life. So there are several factors there that will make it a great machine in many ways.
Drawbacks include the machine's weight, an estimated 15 pounds, and its price, in the area of $6,500. But insiders expect it to be a popular and important new addition to the Macintosh line.
It's a necessary device so that we can travel with our Macs. Businesses are going to love it. It's going to be yet another product that's going to sell very quickly and very profitably for Apple. Their 3rd product in a row on the Mac SE30, the Mac 2 CX, and now a transportable. It's going to put Apple back in the mainstream and gain a lot of market share for them.
In San Francisco for the Computer Chronicles, I'm Wendy Woods.
Joining us in the studio now is Mac McLaughlin. Mac is Director of Western Operations for Compaq. Next to Mac, Jim Bartlett, Manager of Strategic Marketing for NEC. Gary?
Mac, I understand that this is Compaq's first portable. Is that correct?
No, this is our first laptop.
First laptop,
portable.
okay.
Or battery-operated, really.
Or battery-operated.
Okay, get all the adjectives in there.
You got it, okay.
Battery-operated laptop. Why did Compaq wait this long to get into this particular segment of the market?
Well, the technology, in our opinion, was not ready for us to be able to provide a full-function laptop computer.
And in particular, what? What kind of technology?
Primarily the screen. We did a lot of testing with the market to find out what was an acceptable level, and the VGA monitor was really what was seen as an acceptable level screen.
Can you tell us a little bit about this machine?
You bet. As I mentioned, it does have a VGA monitor. It's a 10-inch diagonal screen. And in addition to the VGA capability of the screen, it also will accept EGA or CGA written software.
And also, do you have a connection on the back then that would go to a normal VGA monitor?
Yes, indeed. In fact, you can plug in either a CGA, EGA, or a VGA color monitor as well. The keyboard also is easily removed from the top of the unit, and we find that especially on an airplane, when you try to put a laptop on the tray, that sometimes it's nice to be able to take the keyboard off and put it in your lap to use that.
What else is in here, Mac?
Well, the battery fits right in the front of the unit. I brought an extra battery along with me so you could see that. And it uses a 3.5-inch 1.4 megabyte floppy drive. And it comes with either a 20 or a 40 megabyte hard drive. Uses the C286 microprocessor that runs at 12 megahertz. So it's a very, very high performance system.
Okay, and what kind of time do you get on the, let's say, normal usage? In the
well, it's a minimum of 3 hours in the battery. Normal usage depends on whether or not you're using a graphics-intensive software package or whether it's text.
And you can carry on an extra battery pack.
Carry an extra battery pack usually and just slip it in.
Okay, what's in the back of the machine, Mac? How can we get in and out of this thing?
Okay, glad you asked. On the back of the unit, there is a port for a parallel for a printer. Serial port, a port to plug into the VGA, as we talked about before, for an external monitor. And in addition to that, it has the ability to plug in the full-size 101 keyboard so that if you wanted to use a full-size keyboard, you could.
You've got a couple of interesting connectors over here, look like telco. Does it have a built-in modem then? Is that
that's correct. It does have a built-in modem that plugs in on the side, and in addition to that, it has an AC adapter port on this side of it.
Okay. What's the big fat one on the right there?
Well, this is what we think is one of the most important features of the unit. This plugs into the docking port, so you can actually take your laptop, plug it into a docking port, and then use it as an office computer in your office. The docking port then has a recharger built into it, so it recharges the battery, and also has 2 slots in it, so that you can use 2 additional slots for any other.
And is this removable then, so you can then use?
Well, this can be closed down.
Oh, I see.
And then, of course, you would use your color monitor along with your 101 keyboard when in the office. You can upload the software you've been working on or the programs you've been working on, and then download it when you want to take it home at night.
Jim, you've got a very different approach here with the NEC Ultralite, very small. Tell us what your approach is to a laptop.
Okay, Stuart. Well, we've taken several approaches to laptops and have quite a range, but this product is the first in this class anyway, we feel. It's 4.4 pounds, so it's about the size of a PC magazine, and it can fit into any briefcase without displacing any of your important work papers. So now we have a machine that people can throw in the briefcase and not have to think consciously, am I going to need it or am I not going to need it when I get to the other end of my trip?
Jim, what's inside it? What are the components we're dealing with?
Oh, this is based on a V30 processor running at 10 megahertz, so it's got about the same horsepower as an 8 megahertz 286 machine as far as processing power. It has 640K of RAM. It has a backlit display that does both text and graphics.
Right. Now the catch or the benefit, depending on how you look at it, is no drives, right?
Well, there's no floppy drive inside the machine. There's a separate floppy drive that can be plugged into the expansion port on the back, but we do have a silicon hard disk, which is one of the other very unique things that we did in this machine. It's a 2 megabyte silicon hard disk, and it's differentiated from what we've talked about in the past in the RAM disks in that it actually has the same physical attributes from a piece of software looking at it, looks like a physical hard disk.
Does it retain the data then after the power
Yes.
goes down?
Yeah. Right. It's an integral system that has silicon file chips with a battery to hold them, hold
up
the
to 2
information.
megs.
Right. It's
Okay.
either 1 megabyte or 2 megabyte for the hard disk. Then the other thing we've done is provided ROM cards and RAM cards that can go into this slot on the side. I have one card in here in the side, and there's an additional one I have here. So you can buy standard
application.
Lotus
ROM
1,
pack.
2, 3, you know, WordPerfect 5.0, those kinds of things on these cards, and install that in your ROM card slot in addition to whatever you store on the silicon hard disk.
Now, did you say you also have a RAM card? Is that right?
Right. This is a RAM card in the slot right here.
And that gives you how much storage there?
This particular one is 256K. I have Procom on this card.
And battery life, given that you don't have to worry about mechanical
Yeah,
drives.
it's 2 hours of life on this product. And we found is that over 50%, about 60% of the people in the market research that we have done through an independent source indicate that 1 to 2 hours is what they use daily. Now, there are going to be some people who require more. And we're working
plane trip across the country.
Actually, it's interesting, 87% of all domestic flights, 2 hours of battery life is enough.
Real quick, just a few seconds left. Give me prices on these two machines, Mac.
With a 20 megabyte hard file, it's $53.99, and with the 40 megabyte, it's $59.99.
And the Ultralite?
It's $29.99 with a 1 megabyte silicon hard disk, and with 2 megabyte hard disk, it's $36.99.
Great, thank you.
This has a 2400 baud modem built in as well.
In just a minute, we'll take a look at a laptop that has a built-in cellular modem. Stay with us. Joining us in the studio now is Mike Morris. Mike is Regional Sales Manager with ITC. Next to Mike, we have Bill Howard, Executive Editor with PC Magazine.
Mike, we've got a device sitting on the table here, and I'm not sure whether it's a telephone or a computer.
Computer with an antenna.
Well, it's a little bit of both.
Okay, what is it?
Intelligence Technology has developed a truly unique product in that we have merged a 286 laptop computer with a cellular telephone. In addition to that, we have developed a cellular error-correcting modem. So for the first time in the industry, we are providing error-free data transmission.
So I could have this with me in my car anywhere, call up a database, call up my home computer, an online service.
That's correct. Also provided with the unit is a 12-volt car adapter, so you can plug in through there.
Can you prove this thing works?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I mean, just place a call to the host.
And there's no cables up your sleeve here, right?
That's correct.
Okay, we're really using that antenna. Tell us what you're doing as you do it, Mike.
Okay. I'm just dialing in my local number to the host.
Which is where? Where are you calling?
That's in Dallas.
You're calling Texas.
That's correct. We use Mirror 2, the communication software, with this.
So you've got a phone and modem in here. I mean, you can actually carry on a voice conversation
That's
too
correct.
through this.
That's correct. Comes standard with the handset, which is included with the product. Then you can do hands-free voice with the built-in speakerphone.
Now, what would
That's
be
correct.
the primary application for this? Does a salesman use it? Or
Well, it would be big in the insurance industry, your major defense contractors, real estate industry, your municipalities. That's just to name a few.
You online here?
Yes, I have access to my host in Dallas now. I'm just entering my password, and I have successfully connected by way of cellular into the host in Dallas. And again, we are totally free of any hardwire landline.
Right. Now, you running on AC here?
Right now we are, but you do have
could run on
battery
battery.
power. That's correct.
Okay.
You've got about 1 hour battery life.
And you could then be just downloading files or doing anything you normally do
That's
with that.
correct.
What about the cost of that thing and the weight of it, Mike?
Okay, the weight is 19 pounds, so it's pound for pound the same weight as the Toshiba 3200. We have added a few additional things, batteries, telephone. The weight on it is $75.95.
$75.95.
Wait on.
The weight on, that's the weight, all right.
The price is $75.95.
Bill, people are always asking me, I want to buy a laptop, what should I buy? We've seen a whole bunch of examples in this show. What's the answer to that question? Is it possible to answer that question?
Among the better known vendors, probably most every machine they make is good quality and I'd say worth buying. We have some we like a little more than others. Certainly Zenith, Toshiba, and NEC are the market leaders, and I think they're all quality products. We're also very much impressed with the new Compaq SLT. Compaq's first step into battery power is a very good one. impressed by their power saving. Also some smaller names you may not have heard of. Mitsuba has a nice 286 machine we like a lot. Data World and a few others as well. Also in the low end, Tandy 1400 is a nice machine also.
And what should someone expect to pay? We've heard a number of prices here, but in reality, they're probably all discounted somewhat.
Sure, sure. Well, we have a joke back at the office that, you know, God invented Protestants because someone has to pay retail, but but even with laptops, you should always bargain carefully. I think for a base PC level machine, 8088 or 8086 processor, about $1,500 to $2,000 with a floppy drive, $2,500 with a hard disk. Your 286 or AT class machine typically about $3,500 with a 20 meg hard drive, and your 386 would be about $4,500 to $5,000 in terms of street price, and that's your base. You'll go up a little bit from there as you add accessories and memory.
Is this a good time to buy? People who are saying, well, but tomorrow another thing is going to come out, some new piece of technology.
It's always going to get cheaper as if you wait. In the meantime, you've lost the utility of having the machine now for the next 6 months or so. You certainly will see some changes in the next 6 months in terms of less weight, some reduced price, and also some better display technology.
If you want one, buy it.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for our look at the new generation of laptops. We'll be back in just a minute with this week's computer news. In the random access file this week, Microsoft says it will release a new version of DOS 4.0 that will be faster and require less memory. The company also said it's coming out later this year with version 1.2 of OS2, featuring a more powerful file manager. There's also a special version of OS2 being designed for the Intel 386 processor. Ashton Tate has announced a new file recovery program specifically for DBase 3, 3+, and 4. The program restores the full file with embedded characters, shifted data, and headers. And Ashton Tate says it wants you if you're an independent programmer or writer of software books. The company says it's going all out to find new software tools, utilities, and extension products for the DBase environment. Novell has announced a new version of its NetWare software called Network 386 version 3.0. It can support up to 250 users on one server. It also features a simplified installation procedure and dynamic resource configuration, which automatically allocates memory for caches and buffers. Apple has announced new system software for the Apple IIgs. It's the first 16-bit operating system for the 2GS, and it will enable the high-end Apple II to run on an AppleTalk network. Well, it wasn't a computer show, but it was hard to tell. At the National Association of Broadcasters convention, computers were everywhere, as the new buzzwords were desktop video publishing. Symbolics showed off a new version of its video graphics system using a Macintosh 2. Net result, a 50% cut in cost. Studio Spectrum introduced a new Amiga-based graphics system, complete with Amiga 2000, Genlock, and digitized camera, all for $10,000. Sony demonstrated the world's first real-time three-dimensional graphics system for television. The system uses 8 Intel 286 processors working in parallel. Since operations are in real time, there is no need to learn special programming commands. IBM is getting into the intelligent phone business with a new switchboard that identifies the person calling you on a small LCD attached to the phone. Businesses like the idea since the phone signal can automatically trigger a computer to call up a customer's record while the phone is still ringing. Finally, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates spoke to the Boston Computer Society last week. He said Steve Jobs' next computer is nice, but won't have an impact on the marketplace. And as for the problems that rival Lotus, he suggested Lotus chief Jim Manzi buy a C manual and learn how to program. That's it for this week's Chronicles. We'll see you next time.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte magazine, and BIX, the Byte Information Exchange. In print and online, Byte and BIX serve computer professionals worldwide with detailed information on new hardware, software, and technologies.
For a transcript of this week's Computer Chronicles, send $4 to PTV Publications, Post Office Box 701, Kent, Ohio 44240. Please indicate program date.